So, an update. There's been a lot of changes in the last 6 months. A lot of changes in the last month. A lot of changes in the last 2 months. A lot of changes over the last while. It's been complicated. There's been a cycling of counselors and people as a whole. Let's see, 6 months ago would be, I don't remember. We've lost so much. Dysphoria can be very commonplace. This video is kind of just trying to catch up, start again, and try to revamp and recover. Loss, regroup. It's kind of a blur of a collective people all in one space right now. And emotionally going through a lot. There's a lot in the background, you know, medically, legally, family-wise, many complex things. So there's a lot. Nothing is ever an easy path. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And coming to grips with the past, the times when it pops back up, can both be a good thing and painfully traumatic. We've been kind of trying to recover the last, I guess, 6 months over a lot of things. You know, good stuff shows its face not as often as the bad stuff does. Bad stuff seems commonplace, and it's one of those things that we feel that if you focus on the bad things, that's all you're going to see. But on the same hand, you have to make the best educated mistake, which means you have to be prepared for the bad things. You have to plan ahead for the bad things, even if you're expecting all the good things. Tired. Very tired. Life is very complex. There's no simple path. Being DID is, quote, supposed to be a way to shift out hats, and it's not. There's loss. There's hardship. There's things that can break one of the members of the system if they get exposed to something or somebody says something. I mean, you have to be far more careful in some cases. It's hard. Sometimes being DID means that anybody in the system can get more overwhelmed because it's not one person who's dealing with a lot of stuff inside. It's could be as many as 2, or as little as 2, or as many as several hundred. You don't know. For us, there's been backs and forths, and I think we're still coming to grips with the loss of one that was in our system, and you know, it's complicated because supposedly members in the system can't die, but we can only go by what we know. And we're still working through that. You know, it's quote unquote, the seed is always there. They always exist. They may have tucked away or gone into recluse mode or submerged or things like that. But sometimes people die. They die. And that's not just a quote physical person illness. That is a internal headspace reality. And dying means you don't come back. You don't. So we struggle with the thought of being told that people in our system who have passed can come back. Now, again, if they submerged, yes, they can come back. If they stepped away from the system, yes, they came back. But when you die, it's gone. Your essence is no longer on the plane of existence in a way that can be recollected, reformed, and brought back to you. It just doesn't happen. So I guess it's one of those things of people are allowed their opinions. People can think what they think, and that's okay. But in the same respects, then we want the right to be able to reserve how we think about it, how we feel about it, how we're processing it, and not feel like we're being told to pretty much stand up and get over it. Because loss is not something that you just stand up and get over with. It takes time. So, just updating people. One of ours passed last year, and they took the place for another in our system in order to maintain the system. So we are still working through that. We've had people who've been like, no, 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 it's a hopeless system. Don't worry, they'll come back. No, 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 it's a hopeless system. Being this way all of our lives, if someone is really dead, they don't come back. We've had members who we thought were dead who did come back. There's a difference. We know the difference. We feel the difference. So maybe our update is, hey, someone inside died. And we're still processing that. Stress does not, there's no real way to deal with stress except to try to work your hardest to get through it. So, that's the end goal. With everything else going on, we're just trying to get through that. So, it's your update. Apologies for it being long. Several of us are trying to cohesively work together to get things done. But I thank you all for being here and your support, even with the long absence of the last 6 months. Be safe, all of you, and should equipment work, here's to the next update.